Hey everybody, Rob here. It's time for a few stories from the ProRevenge archives. First one, how I inadvertently brought down a crime ring. Let's jump right in. Join the KCC Discord for giveaways and behind the scenes of KCC, link down below. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. This all happened in 2008. I was 18. I had just gotten a job at a new restaurant basically next door to me the summer after I graduated high school. The owner of the restaurant, we'll call him Ken, was an immigrant from Syria, relevant later in the story. Ken had spent most of his life in the States managing restaurants in Boston, but moved to our area to help some of his family with their struggling business. In the beginning, things were going well. We had a steady flow of customers and some pretty good food. About a month in, however, things shifted. Ken bought a new Mercedes and house. I thought nothing of it. He just moved to the area 2 months prior. Then things got bad. He closed on his house and made his employees move everything for him. Servers, dishwashers, bussers, everyone. He said if we didn't, we'd be fired. So we did. He then started taking vacations and leaving his head chef, who has never even been in a professional kitchen before this job, in charge. He was overwhelmed and just told us all to f*** off when we had an issue. Fast forward 4 months, Ken is now not paying employees. We started losing a lot of help. It's almost the end of summer, and in a few weeks, I'd be quitting for college anyway, so I stuck it out. I started working 13 to 16 hour shifts, 6 days a week, which promised good money. I was, at this point, promoted to head of house and got a raise even though I wasn't being paid. I worked about 3 weeks that way, around 84 to 96 hours a week at $15 an hour. I then learned that one of my only friends there, a Mexican here on a work visa, had not been paid for over a month. He told me he was afraid of quitting because he didn't want to lose his visa like Ken told him would happen. I was livid. I took my uniform off and stormed to the front of the restaurant where Ken was. It was our dinner rush, which at this point meant 1 or 2 tables of people who'd probably never come back because the food was garbage. I demanded payment for the last 3 weeks, around $3,600 on the spot. He blew up in front of everyone. Normally, I'm passive and would back down, but not today. I was pissed. I told him that if he didn't pay me, I was calling the health board, the tax office. We were all getting paid under the table, and no taxes were being filed on the business, and the police, and have the place shut down the next day. He paid me. I gave the money to our dishwasher. He needed it more, and told him to take the rest of the night and tomorrow off. The next day, I called the immigration office in our area and explained our dishwasher's situation to see if they could help. I set up a meeting with them for him. I picked him up and away we went. When we get there, they asked if I could just fill out a statement to add to his file. Sure. I wrote everything. A few days later, I hear sirens. The restaurant is basically next door, remember? I look outside and see Ken being handcuffed and put in the back of a squad car and the health department bolting the doors. I walk over to see what's going on. Ken was previously being investigated for fraud, and my statement was the evidence that set the investigation over the edge. I read in the paper some months later about it. In the raid, they found his ledger, which showed how much money he had been skimming from the business, over 6 figures, and he was charged on that. Ken was getting deported back to Syria, and the rest of the sister restaurants were getting shut down pending further investigation. They never reopened. So this is the story about how a fresh 18-year-old inadvertently brought down a minor crime ring in my area, all because I was pissed they took advantage of a friend. It makes you think, oh crap, all of those employees that are now out of a job, but then you remember they weren't getting paid anyways, so I guess it's just a chance for them to move on. It would have been nice to have an update on the friend's visa issue, kinda sad that wasn't in the story. On to our next story, act like a jerk and try to get me fired? Enjoy watching my promotion before you get fired. Let's jump right in. Background: I work for a communications company. We primarily sell internet-based all-in-one communication solutions for businesses. I'm in the software development department, working as a software tester currently. I've been with the company a long time, have worked my way up from phone support, and have a ton of knowledge about the company, including policy and culture. I also have a relative who has worked in HR for many years. The story: I had been working as a software tester for about 2 years doing manual testing. Our team was fairly unsupervised as we didn't really have a manager, but the company was expanding quickly, so they hired us a manager. Enter Jay, the a-hole. At first, things were fine. He was just learning the company. However, it was odd. He never asked anyone for any information. He just said he'd do his own research and spent the first month online reading stuff. Not sure what that taught him about our company specifically though. After the first month, he hit the ground running. He immediately started creating automation tests, adding to the existing test code, and creating stupid rules that made no sense. He broke tons of stuff and took credit for work that wasn't his. Everyone hated him, and we all referred to him as f***ing Jack. For the most part, we all ignored him. As of this point, no one has specifically said he was our manager. He was just here to help provide direction. Fast forward a few months and everyone on the team wants to quit. No one can stand him. He and I butt heads more so than others because I know he's wrong, and I make my decisions based on the best interests of the customers. He hated that I never get in trouble, but I was hand-selected for the position by our CIO. He knows how hard I work. Well, Jay keeps trying to get me in trouble. He finally succeeds. I get a write-up from him that is my final warning. I've never been written up before. I talk to my HR family member, review the company handbook, and then I go to HR with my write-up. I fight and I win. I get a warning instead. Jay is livid. He gives me the stink eye for months to follow. Fast forward again and he's still after me, but I have a family emergency come up. I have to move out of town. I apply to work from home and my request is granted. Jay can't stand it. He tries to fight it and convince the company not to let me. However, he's not high enough up the chain to override my approval from a C-level manager. He's running out of time to get me fired. I'm in the office working late daily, planning for my move and finishing up some work to allow me time off for the move. One of the company's policies for our department is that everyone gets to work from home 1 day a week. You pick as long as it isn't Monday or Friday. People often use this to work from home when sick. Well, I have a medical condition that sometimes requires I take medicine. That means I can't drive a car. I emailed the office and let them know I was going to work from home due to being sick. I work for about 30 minutes. Then Jay sends me a message. He tells me that employees are not allowed to pick when they work from home, and I need to take the day off and use PTO. I informed him that I've already worked part of the day and can't take PTO. He insists that I stop working immediately, so I did. I then contact HR because I know he's coming after me. I can confirm that as a salaried employee, if I work at all in a day, I cannot be required to take PTO. HR confirms. I forward the email to Jay. Once again, I've won the game and he is so pissed I can see steam coming out of his ears every time he looks at me. The next day, I'm back to work. Jay sends me an email with a final write-up with a recommendation for termination because I took an unauthorized day off. What the f***? I immediately forward his email to HR with proof he told me to take the day, a screenshot of all the conversations I had with him about it, and proof I forwarded the previous HR decision to him. In the email, I also included that I was filing a formal complaint against him for a hostile workplace, targeting, bullying, retaliating, and a violation of my ADA rights. The response is swift, sweet, and awesome. I am immediately notified by Jay's boss that moving forward, I report directly to him. My write-up had been torn up, and I can start working from home immediately prior to my move. Jay is demoted from being the manager of the team. He's super pissed. Within 2 weeks, they demote him from being the manager of his other team and then let him go within the next month. Prior to his being fired, I got promoted up a level. I made sure to mention it often in our group chat channels. After I showed his true colors to management, he began treating everyone else worse as I was now off limits. Complaints rolled in so much, they had to let him go. Serves him right, the asshole. OP's lucky they had a family member in HR that was able to help them out to navigate how HR actually works. A lot of times it feels like HR is just there to protect the interests of the company and not the employees themselves. I'm glad it turned out okay for OP in this situation. On to our last story. This call has been recorded for quality and training purposes. Let's jump right in. About a year ago, I was working behind the counter for a liquor store. It wasn't particularly busy, and my boss was stacking shelves nearby when an entitled customer walks in. She gets several bottles of alcohol and comes up to the counter. I estimate she looks under 20. "Good evening. Before I serve you, do you have valid ID?" "I don't need ID. I'm 25. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm required by law to cite ID from all customers that may be underage." "Well, I don't have any ID. Just sell me the alcohol." "I'm sorry. If you don't have valid ID, I cannot serve you." So entitled customer goes absolutely ape. She screams at me, calling me, amongst other things, a pedophile, a racist, and a fat piece of shit. "I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I'll have to ask you to leave the store." Still screaming invective at me, and then the manager, she leaves the store. And this is not an unusual occurrence. The boss and I laugh it off and get back to work, thinking no more of it. So fast forward about a week, I'm working again when the boss calls me to the office to get a phone call from HR. "Hi, what can I do for you?" "We received a complaint from a customer that you were exceptionally rude to her on date Q. Due to this, we've signed you up to take a mandatory course on customer service. It's at X and Y time and date." Hang on a second. I grab my phone and switch on the record function. "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Repeats. "My manager was here for that incident. He'll confirm that I was not rude to that customer." "Yes, he said that. Nonetheless, you have to attend the customer service course. It's mandatory." Hang on, so you are trying to tell me that my manager and I are lying? "No, but we got a complaint, so you have to do the course." So let me get this straight. Despite the fact I was not rude to the customer, and my manager says that I was not rude to the customer, and she was literally lying about it, I have to attend a course on customer service? Yes. Do you know what workplace bullying is? What? Workplace bullying. What? Why? You are punishing me for an event that did not happen. That qualifies as workplace bullying. I suggest you take me off this customer service mandatory course. "I can't do that. You have to attend it." "No problem. I quit. I'll see you in court." I should mention that this call has been recorded for quality and training purposes. I put the phone down and chat with the manager for a few minutes while he tries to calm me down from the incandescent rage I'm feeling. A few minutes later, the phone rings again. It's HR supervisor. We stick it on speaker and I record again. "What is this all about?" So I explain what HR told me, and he questioned the manager and myself. After a few minutes back and forth, he says, "Okay, I'll take you off the course." That's not good enough. What? "I'm a victim of workplace bullying. I'm taking you to court." That's hardly necessary. We've fixed the problem, right? No, I've been insulted and then been told that the company does not trust me, nor does it trust my manager. I'd prefer to take my chances in court, as I have direct evidence of workplace bullying. What can we do to resolve this? 2 things. I'd like a raise, and you to personally send a memo to everyone stating that they cannot just send people on mandatory training courses unless there is actual evidence that wrongdoing has occurred. I'll see what I can do. Anyway, I got a small raise and a memo was sent out requiring review of customer complaints before any mandatory training was required of staff. So I took the win. The boss and I had a good laugh about it. He admired my bravery in standing up to the dreaded HR. What pisses me off most, though, is the thought of how many staff had to attend mandatory training for something that was entirely the fault of some entitled customer. Okay, well, I hate to be blunt, but I'm just gonna put this out there. A lot of companies underestimate the power of "F you, I quit," and "I'll see you in court." Most of the time, employees are just subservient lemmings that do whatever they're told and follow the rules exactly as they're told. We need more people to stand up for themselves and hold the higher-ups accountable. I'd like to thank all 3 OPs for posting their stories to the ProRevenge subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.